Hey friends, Ash here with Gents with another This Week in Fragrance video talking about some upcoming releases and some new releases that have just come out. And yeah, at this point it's more like this month in fragrance instead of this week in fragrance, but of course with everything going on, there aren't as many fragrance releases as have been in the past. In this video, we're going to talk about a new fragrance from Kenneth, new fragrance from Dolce Gabbana, new fragrance from Parfums de Marly, new fragrance from Bvlgari, among many others. So let's jump into this. Okay, first up, new fragrance from Kenneth. This one is Kenneth Mankind Unlimited. Kenneth, not really a fragrance house that's super highly thought of, but they do have some decent fragrances, especially when you pick them up at a steep discount from discounters or TJ Maxx or Ross's or Marshall's. I typically would say don't buy Kenneth fragrances at full retail, because this one, Kenneth Mankind Unlimited, is going to go for 82 bucks for a 100 milliliter size. When it shows up at discounters though, it's probably going to be 30, 35. Still yet though, do be aware of this one. Kenneth Mankind Unlimited Eau de Toilette is a fresh fragrance with a burst of citrus for those who boldly live without limits. The new Kenneth fragrance advances the original Mankind edition into a dynamic sensation of city adventure for the summer season. And when I hear Mankind, I actually think about Mick Foley from the WWE/WWF. That would be a much more interesting fragrance, that Mankind. Anyway, this is all from the house. Earlier creations followed the original Mankind, including Ultimate Hero and last year's Legacy Edition. This year, the American fashion house has chosen the charm and dynamics of city streets as its philosophy and presents its new masculine fragrance. Kenneth Mankind Unlimited is for energetic, confident men who are ready to conquer the heights of business and career, as well as women's hearts. Oh yeah. The blend combines spicy cardamom, juniper sage, and black pepper with woody cedar and sandalwood notes with refreshing sea notes. They're softened by the sweet sound of ambergris and juicy, positive tangerine accents. So there you go, Kenneth Mankind Unlimited. This one is going to run $62 for 50 ml size, or like I said earlier, 82 for 100 ml. Let's go from there to the new Chopard Black Incense Malaki. Yes, Black Incense Malaki is a tribute by Chopard to the millennial tradition of royal frankincense resin. And actually the note breakdown here, pretty simple. Top, exotic spices, mid, frankincense, base, leather, and oud. So whereas most of these scents that I'm going to be talking about here today are going to be summer fragrances, which makes sense because they're coming out in the middle of summer, this one definitely not for summer. This rich and powerful incense elixir blends into layers of shiny spices with the smell of smoky wood and intensely flavored oils and resins. Its addictive core, layered with oud and notes of warm leather, evokes royal fragrant ceremonies and enchanting swirls of burning resins. So this one definitely going to be a fall and winter time fragrance, and it looks like it's going to run about $125 for an 80 milliliter size bottle, 2.7 ounces. So that's going to put it on the upper end of designer pricing. Now let's talk about one of the larger designer announcements for this video, Bvlgari Glacial Essence. Technically this was announced 2, maybe even 3 weeks ago, but I'm just now getting around to talking about it. This one is going to follow up on Bvlgari Wood Essence and then Neroli Wood. So now we have Glacial Essence, obviously fragrance made for summertime for high heat situations. Bvlgari Glacial Essence embodies an innovative expression of extreme and modern freshness, the elemental power of a woody fougere fragrance crystallized by ice. Following the seasonal launches from the Bvlgari fragrance range, we find past essence editions of the aromatic warm spicy Man and Black Essence and the aromatic woody Man Wood Essence. This year's icy fresh Man Glacial Essence will make the perfect summer fragrance for men. Now let me hit you with the note breakdown here. It's got a top of geranium, juniper, and ginger. So there's a lot of briskness in those three notes. It should be very fresh off the top. The mid of lily, artemisia, and sandalwood. That's where things take kind of a different turn than what I might have expected in a Bvlgari summertime icy fragrance, but it's what it shows as in the mid. And then in the base, musk, cedar, and woody notes, and that makes absolute sense. Clean white musk and then woody notes that kind of tie it in with the previous additions. So what stands out to me the most here, obviously, like I said, the mid, lily, and then artemisia, which is also known as wormwood or absinthe, depending on how the note is used, the kind of feeling that they're trying to get across with the note, and sandalwood. So with artemisia, a lot of times you're going to get this kind of green feeling in the fragrance, and again, it really depends on how they're trying to get that to come across in the scent. Sometimes it comes across just as something fresh and green. Sometimes it just comes across like a generic green note. Sometimes it comes across very dark and rich. So here I would imagine it's just going to come across green and maybe a little bit fresh. I can't imagine that they're going to throw in this very dense, very rich wormwood / artemisia note in this type of fragrance. All right, next up is from Histoires de Parfum. This is not a blue bottle, 1.6. Another follow-up to This Is Not a Blue Bottle. Histoires de Parfum for me was more interesting years back when they had fragrances that were based around years and historical figures. The fragrances held a little more intrigue for me. It seems like, especially over the past few years, what they've concentrated on pretty heavily is these, the This Is Not a Blue Bottle flankers. I know there are some fans out there of these, but for me, I'm just kind of like, okay, another one. So here we go. French niche house Histoires de Parfum has launched This Is Not a Blue Bottle 1.6, a unisex follow-up to 2016's This Is Not a Blue Bottle. So yeah, another This Is Not a Blue Bottle. Green souls fall in love in the shade of citrus trees. Your laughter exhales a song of yuzu zests, and my kisses flutter, white like petals of neroli, as they rest on your grapefruit lips. What? Red. The pulp of my fingers run along your jasmine neck. Drink the blue seas of your eyes and the smell of your smiles. There is a heat, a whiff of vanilla, of two bodies entwined in a shape of white musks. This is like one of my mom's old romance novels or something. Hypnotic lotus and dilated pupils. There comes from my fingers like a moan of geranium, a desire to taste you like a sip of orange juice. Green. I waft towards you on the wings of your skin of clouds. Words do not lie. There is no end to me. God. This is a blue planet, juicy like an orange whence lotus and orange blossom spring like sea spray. A haze of white musks and tropics of neroli shape a continent of vanilla desserts. We'll just leave it there. So that's all from the house. Yeah, rough. That's like some poetry that a high schooler would have written and put on his Zanga or MySpace years and years ago. But be on the lookout for that one. Next up, let's talk about Parfums de Marly, Sutton, or EPSOM, whatever. So Parfums de Marly came out with a fragrance called Sutton. Came out in a nice little green bottle. People were excited to check it out. Then suddenly its name was changed to EPSOM, which is not really a good name, in my opinion. When I hear EPSOM, I think Epsom salt. So I don't really want that fragrance to give off that thought, I would think. And then after a day or two of being on Parfums de Marly's website as EPSOM, it's gone. As of this video when I'm filming, the fragrance is nowhere to be found on their website. Let me read the note breakdown for you. It's got a top of bergamot, mandarin orange, green apple, and cashmere wood, a mid of cedarwood, petitgrain violet, and pomerose, base of oak moss, musk, and amberwood. So there are some people talking about this. It seems that possibly Bond Number 9 sued or threatened to sue Parfums de Marly. Now, this would not be the first time Bond Number 9 has done this. They've done it to other brands in the past, and actually on the episode of the podcast that I've been doing weekly with Imagine Scent and Cascade Scents, we'll probably talk about this a little bit more in detail. But the word on the street is that Bond Number 9 basically went to Parfums de Marly and said, hey, you can't name that Sutton because we have a fragrance named Sutton Place. So yeah, Bond Number 9 possibly threatened to sue Parfums de Marly, and they took the name and changed it to EPSOM, and now they're kind of thinking about it before they go forward. And I know that some of the reviews that were done for Sutton had to be made unlisted. I'm assuming that Parfums de Marly requested that. I did get a little decant of Sutton. Smells pleasant, smells nice. Dry down reminds me of Percival, so it's got a definite similarity there. If you've smelled Percival, when you hit the dry down of Sutton, it's gonna remind you of that fragrance. But yeah, like I said, I'll talk about this more on the podcast, which I'll probably film here in the next couple days, but you probably won't see till next week. Next up, a big release from the house of Dolce Gabbana, the first flanker in the K line, K Eau de Parfum. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Eau de Toilette. Hopefully this one's gonna be better. This one has a top of blood orange, Sicilian lemon, juniper berry, cardamom, and chili or pimento, a mid of geranium, clary sage, lavender, and fig, and a base of cedarwood, patchouli, and cypriol. Hopefully better than the Eau de Toilette. I'm assuming this one's gonna be versatile, people-pleasing, compliment pulling. You know the drill. Maybe a little bit richer, maybe a little more depth in this one. They have changed up the color of the crown. It is now silver. I do like the bottle coloration overall more on the Eau de Parfum. This one, you know, I'm gonna keep an open mind. I'm gonna wait. Hopefully when I get it in and smell it, it's awesome. For now though, that's what we've got. We've got the note breakdown, K Eau de Parfum. Next up, fragrance from the house of Acqua de Parma, a new flanker in their Colonia line, Colonia FUTURA. And this has quite the write-up from the house. So let me try to shoot through this really quickly. Colonia FUTURA expands the universe of the Acqua de Parma colognes, a new fragrance that is titled to be the emblem of the sustainability manifesto of the historic Italian house. For this very good reason, it is called Acqua de Parma FUTURA. So essentially, what they're talking about here is sustainability. So the packaging has been updated with recycled and or recyclable materials. It also says that the composition features ingredients that are of 99% natural origin. So I'm assuming that that means 99% naturals in the fragrance, and it's not a weird play on words where they say 99% natural origin, and by that, you know, they have a synthetic, but somehow it has a natural origin and they're tying it in that way. But that's what they're saying, 99% natural origin. Some natural oils are extremely expensive, and I mean, some synthetics are extremely expensive as well. Being natural doesn't automatically mean it's a higher quality molecule than something that's synthetic. You can have crap quality naturals and extremely high quality synthetics and vice versa. But assuming that they're using naturals of high quality, some of them are quite expensive. This fragrance is supposed to be a declaration of love for nature in the Acqua de Parma brand or house, a vibrant explosion of natural ingredients perfectly interwoven without having to give up an iota of prominence, transparent in its essence and full of life, according to the house. So it does say this new fragrance was a real creative challenge and a stimulating exercise in composition to achieve a contemporary twist on the historical ingredients of perfumery. The dosage and calibration of each of the ingredients makes it possible for them to come together in a unique and modern combination. Now, the original Colonia is going to be a very classic style Italian cologne. It's fresh, it's clean, it's gentlemanly, a little bit sophisticated, not super youthful, very versatile, great spring and summertime fragrance. This one has a top of bergamot, grapefruit, lemon, and pink pepper, mid of lavender and sage, and a base of vetiver and woods. And that note breakdown really does kind of lead me to feel this is going to be right in line with the original. You know, you've got a nice, brisk, bright citrus opening, a little touch of pink pepper in there, a little bit of spice, lavender and sage, going to give you that classic masculine kind of vibe, and then woods in the base along with vetiver gives you a nice masculine, likely clean, woody dry down. And with that one, Acqua de Parma Colonia FUTURA, I'll wrap this one up. So there we go, guys. Which of those fragrances are you looking forward to most? Dolce & Gabbana K Eau de Parfum, Bvlgari Glacial Essence, Parfums de Marly, Sutton, EPSOM, unknown future name. As always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. Stay safe out there. See you guys.